Hi guys, today we're gonna paint a hedgehog. Let's get started.
For our little hedgehog today, Ansley and I each have a 4x6 sheet of watercolor paper. This is actually the paper we're using. It's a cheaper option if you want to use cotton watercolor paper, but can't afford maybe the more expensive brands. So we really like this one. We're gonna use that today, and we have washi tape securing our paper to the desk. Each of us has a pencil, a Sharpie, and a paintbrush, a jar of water, and then I have a couple of watercolors on my messy palette here, some browns, a dark blue, and a couple of yellowish colors for our hedgehog. Now before we begin, it's a good idea to practice getting some of the pencil strokes down that you'll need to make the spikes on the hedgehog. So one of the defining features on a hedgehog is all those little spikes on its back, right?
Yeah, it helps protect itself.
Yeah, so what we're gonna do first is we're gonna practice making these little upside down V shapes. You're gonna try to make them really skinny and sort of overlapping each other. Can you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Now you try. So try practicing a few spikes on your piece of paper here and make them real tiny and separate if you can. And if not, here's another technique you can do is where you connect them all like this. All in one movement. Both of those are good. Both of those look like spikes, don't they? Now the second thing we're gonna practice before we start is we're gonna draw a circle really quick. This is actually how we're gonna start our hedgehog. And then we're gonna practice drawing those spikes all the way around the circle. Real little. Hedgehog spikes don't look like giant stakes in the ground. They look like little spikes. They're like little blades of grass almost.
Yeah.
And so you'll draw your spikes all the way around that circle. You feel good about that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's get started. So we're gonna put our scrap papers aside and start on our drawing. Now the hedgehog we're drawing today is facing us, so it's looking right at us. And like I said before, we're gonna start with a simple circle shape. So make sure that your circle is small enough that it fits inside of your paper, and try to make it about right in the middle of your paper, and lightly draw your circle. Okay, so draw your circle all the way in the inside of your paper. Now find a spot towards the bottom of your circle and just put a little dot right there. That is going to represent your hedgehog's nose. Now from there, you're going to make a fat V coming up like this. And that is your hedgehog's head. From there, we're going to turn the top of the V into an A, and that's the ear.
Yeah.
Pointy little ear.
An upside down V.
Now this point of your V is the nose. Let's make a circle there. And you can make this dark because it's going to be black when we paint it. So a nice dark circle for the nose. Good. For the eyes, I want you to find a spot exactly in the middle between the tip of the ear and the nose, and just put a little dot there for now on both sides of the head. And once you think that's a good spot for the eyes, do you think so?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're gonna make it the same size as the nose, maybe a little smaller. A circle shape. Leave a highlight, and you can fill in the eyes. We are gonna fill it in with Sharpie too. But hedgehog eyes are kind of little beady eyes. They look like little black shiny circles, don't they? Now, you remember the spikes we practiced?
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna do spikes connecting the ears all the way across. And we still need to add legs, don't we? So for the legs, we're just gonna do two parallel lines curving towards the nose for one leg, and add little toes. It almost look like little commas.
That's kind of cute.
Mm-hmm. The other leg will also curve towards the nose. So the two feet are looking at each other, aren't they?
Yeah, it's kind of like the opposite direction.
And then on either side of those feet, we're going to add hind toes. And then we'll just separate the legs from the body with those short little spiky motions of your pencil.
Yeah, because hedgehogs are very protective with their spikes.
And you remember how we practiced our spiky circle? Well, now is our chance to draw the spikes on the hedgehog. So you can start anywhere in your circle and draw the spikes all the way around the hedgehog's body.
It's kind of fun.
Okay, the next thing is to add a little bit of spikes coming down from the ear to the body in a curved shape. And this whole section of the hedgehog is going to be white. And we're not going to draw those big spikes on that section because that's going to be white when we go in with the paint. Okay, now let's fill in all of the back of the hedgehog with those spikes that we practiced drawing. Point your spikes always towards the edge of the circle. Try drawing them separate like this, Ansley. Little separate spikes.
Okay.
Once you're done with your spikes, the last thing we need to draw, there's two more things we need to draw. We're going to draw the inside of the ear and just make it a little triangle and fill it in. And then we're going to draw a line connecting the two eyes with a curved line coming down. Good, you did yours hairy. I like that. And this area is going to be a dark gray. Okay, so I'm just telling you what colors they're going to be when we use the paint. But I'll also show you and you can follow along. So now grab your Sharpie and we're just going to outline. Let's start with the nose. Let's fill in the nose black. And you can leave a highlight on the nose too if you want it to look shiny. Try to make it really round. Nice. And then we'll do the same thing for the eye. Start with the circle and then outline your highlight and fill in the eye black. We're going to outline the ears and fill in the middle. We are going to outline the legs. This will help us preserve our drawing when we go over it with the watercolors in just a minute. Are you ready to outline your body? All those spikes that you drew with pencil?
It's funny. It gets funny. Ooh, I'm going to outline my hind feet.
You don't have to follow your exact marks, but use the Sharpie to outline the body in that spiky motion. I'm going to start outlining my spikes as well on the inside of the body. All right, the last thing is some whiskers. Let's add a couple whiskers. Maybe 3 on each side, coming out of the side of the muzzle. All right, you ready to paint? Cool, we're gonna set our paints right here. And I'm gonna spray them with a spray bottle first. We each need a paper towel for blotting. Start by getting your brush wet. And then blot it on your paper towel to remove any excess water. Now I'm going to take a little bit of this dark blue and the brown, and I'm going to mix up a kind of grayish color. And you can dip your brush in that too. And we're going to start by painting the muzzle right here between the eyes and right up to the nose. And then I'm taking the tip of my brush and adding a little bit of texture along that edge by just going up, up, up. And with whatever's left on my brush, I'm going to paint a light shadow between the legs. Good. We're going to touch our brush into this reddish brown, and see how I'm swiping my brush on the side to remove any excess water. Make sure there's not too much water. And I'm going to paint in the little front legs with that watered down reddish brown. If you want to go darker, you can take this dark brown too, and that'll work just fine. So I'm using the dark brown to go a little darker on those legs. They were too light. So brown legs, looking good. Watch me use my brush on the brown. I'm gonna swipe it in the paint a few times so I have a lot of paint on the tip of my brush, but not too much water. And now I'm gonna just do little streaks inside of those spikes. I'm not painting in the whole back. Hedgehogs have white tips on their spikes, don't they? And so we're gonna leave some white in between those spikes to make it really look like a hedgehog.
Like right.
See, I'm just taking the tip of my brush and going up.
Mm.
If you have too much paint, blot it and on your paper towel. And you gotta make sure your brush comes to a nice tight point here. It needs to be a point, so you can twist it on the side and then just very lightly feather. Watch again. See how I'm holding my brush right upside down like this?
Okay.
And I'm just touching the paper very lightly with the tip of the brush.
That's
Good.
hard.
Good, it is hard. You got it. Tip of the brush and swipe it up, just making little markings. We're going to do that all over the hedgehog's back. And this is really all we have to paint on those spikes, because so much of the spikes in real life are white. And if you need a little more paint, you can get some more. Do you want to try to use my sharper brush?
Mm-hmm.
This one works just fine too. Let's make them a little longer like that. See how they look spiky? And just like when you were drawing your spikes pointing to the outside of the circle, do the same thing with your brush strokes. Point the brush strokes up to the outside of the circle. Yeah, and that means changing directions when you go sideways, right? Good job. This is kind of intermediate watercoloring and you're doing great. So fill it in all, see how I did all kinds of them all over the back? I'm gonna make them real close together. I'm doing that same motion with this light, kind of tan color for the center of the head, but you just keep working on your spikes. So really the only colors you need for this project are black or gray. You can water it down to make gray, and brown. That's pretty much all you need. Good job. It's tough being so gentle with your brush, isn't it? You can try holding it a little closer to the tip. That way you have a little more control. Nice. Would you like to paint a background color? I've got this beautiful bright blue right here, or this beautiful bright yellow for the background, or you could use one of the browns.
I'd love to use yellow and the blue.
Okay, so like mixing a green, if you mix these two colors. Ooh, look at that. That's fun, huh? Carefully paint around your hedgehog. I like your blue. I think I'm going to use that for up above in the sky. I like your yellow. It's exciting. Oh, wow. He looks like he's got a glass on, like the glasses on one side. Very professorial. That was super fun. We learned a lot of new techniques today with that. So now we can take the tape off. And if you taped your paper down, you should end up with these really nice white borders. And there we go. There are our finished hedgehogs.
We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button and hit subscribe. Thanks for watching. Bye.